A five-pillar push for manufacturing. Barbados' tourism boom and Bitcoin breaks records. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Monday, October 6, 2025. I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast, locally, JMEA president charts five-pillar plan to drive manufacturing growth and boost export performance. On the regional front, Barbados' tourism sector surges, with the United States now topping the island's source markets. And over on the global stage, Bitcoin smashes through the $125,000 mark, setting a new record as risk appetite returns to global markets. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
Wealth is not simply counted in dollars or cents, but in the time we spend with love, in love, giving love. Wealth is not simply a means to an end. It is the means to live out loud. Wealth is more than money. It's about family, the memories you create, the legacy you leave behind, and your ability to enjoy life in the moment. It's also about seeing the QMAX possibilities and seizing investment opportunities to achieve the future you want and deserve. Which is why QMAX Wealth will focus on your investments so you can experience more. Because true wealth is truly more. To start investing today, call 876-926-7767.
Has so much book you need for high school?
I'll show you how to make sure you have all the money for my books and even some extra. It's called budgeting, Dad. Making a budget is the most important thing you can do to track your money. It keeps a record of how much you make, how much you spend, where you spend it, and most importantly, how much you can save. Write down all your income, write down all your expenses, see where you can cut down and allot more money to more important things, like saving.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-923-5111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
The local news is brought to you by Darriman Trading. Better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the real pulse of Jamaica's economy, manufacturing, where newly installed JMEA President Catherine Silvera has set out a five-pillar recovery plan to strengthen competitiveness, drive exports, and accelerate industrial growth. Her announcement came as the association celebrated record achievements at the 2025 Manufacturers and Exporters Awards Gala in Kingston on the weekend. A night of sparkle and strategy, the 2025 M&E Awards Gala gathered the country's industrial powerhouses to honor excellence in manufacturing and export performance. While the spotlight glittered on the night's multiple award winners, Seprod, Blue Power Company Limited, and Dawson Trading Company Limited, the JMEA president used the occasion to outline a bold new agenda for the sector's next chapter.
Go. I am guided by 5 clear priorities. Strengthening data connection. Reliable data is a compass that will guide our industry. By understanding our performance, trends, and opportunities, we can advocate more effectively for our members. Deepening linkages with tourism and government. Manufacturing and tourism are not separate islands. They are partners in nation building.
Her plan also focuses on renewable energy and cost reform.
Addressing energy costs and renewable sources. The competitiveness of our manufacturers depends on access to affordable and reliable energy. Together, we will push for solutions through efficiency, renewables, and policy changes. This reduces the burden and unlock growth. Investing in skills development by reforming our Manufacturing Sector Skills Council. The future of manufacturing belongs to a workforce that is innovative, tech-savvy, and adaptable.
A key pillar of the plan will be a renewed push to buy Jamaica, build Jamaica.
Finally, championing the Buy Jamaica, Build Jamaica mindset. Supporting local manufacturing is not just an economic choice, it is a patriotic act. Every Jamaican product bought is a job saved, a family supported, and a step forward to a stronger nation.
That was JMEA President Catherine Silvera. And while Jamaica's manufacturers were being recognized at home for their innovation and resilience, the island was also receiving global recognition, this time in St. Lucia. Under a sky lit by expectation and the soft glow of spotlights, Jamaica ascended once more on the global tourism stage. At the 32nd Annual World Travel Awards held at Sandals Grand, St. Lucian on the weekend, Jamaica didn't just compete, it dominated, earning 45 awards across national and regional levels. Among the haul were the coveted title of Caribbean's leading destination, a distinction the island has now secured 19 times. The awards, often dubbed the Oscars of the travel industry, recognize excellence across hotels, airlines, and destinations worldwide. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the win reflects Jamaica's world-class service and the dedication of its people as the island prepares to welcome 5 million visitors and earn $5 billion in tourism revenue this year. Jamaica also claimed titles for leading cruise destination, leading tourist board, and leading airport, while homegrown brands like Sandals Resorts, Club Bay, and Montego Bay Convention Center captured top regional prizes. In other news, Wigton Energy is starting its new financial year on a stronger footing, posting a sharp rebound in profits as generation volumes picked up after last year's hurricane disruption. At the company's annual general meeting on Friday, Chief Financial Officer Sean Treasure noted that for the quarter ended June 30, 2025, the renewable e-power producer reported net profit of over 259 million Jamaican dollars, up 56% from a year earlier.
Net profit for the period stood at $259.2 million, up $93.4 million or 56.3% compared with the corresponding period. This increase was primarily driven by the higher revenues as indicated earlier. Earnings per share for the period were approximately 2.36 cents compared to 1.51 cents in the previous year.
She added that revenues rose 25% to over 890 million Jamaican dollars, lifted by higher wind speeds and improved plant availability across its Manchester and St. Elizabeth farms.
Total revenues for the period amounted to $890.9 million, an increase of $178.8 million, or 25.1%, from $712.1 million in the similar period last year. This growth was primarily driven by the higher energy production.
That was Wigton Energy Limited's Chief Financial Officer, Sean Treasure. Kintyre Holdings has announced that its subsidiary Visual Vibe has secured a US $500,000 investment, approximately 80 million Jamaican dollars, from Portland PJX, the private equity firm or the private equity arm of Portland Holdings, led by Jamaican-Canadian billionaire Michael Lee Chin. Kintyre's president and CEO Tyrone Wilson described the investment as both personal and pivotal, noting that Lee Chin has served as his mentor for the past 2 years. He said the partnership marks a pre-IPO investment that validates Visual Vibe's sustained profitability and aggressive growth ambitions. The funds will drive the company's regional and international rollout, including new digital billboards, upgraded screens, and expanded product offerings. Visual Vibe already operates in partnership with Dalvey Media in the United States, gaining access to 175 advertising trucks, and is now in advanced talks with a Florida-based partnership. Wilson says the support from Lee Chin, along with NCB Financial Group CEO Robert Almeida and Portland PJX Chairman Ricardo Hutchinson, will propel Visual Vibe into a new era. We go now to updates from the Bank of Jamaica on how the currency markets traded today. In Monday's trading session, the US dollar is selling for $161.29, the Canadian for $116.37, the pound for $218.83, while the going rate for the euro is $191.53. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities markets. In Monday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 112 stocks, of which 49 advanced, 41 declined, and 22 traded firm. Leading the winners are First Rock Real Estate Investments, 138 Student Living Jamaica Variable Preference, Kintyre Holdings JA, and the Limnas and Bards. While leading the losers are Knutsford Express Services, KLE Group, Cygnus Real Estate Financial, JMD, and Mayberry Group. The main index declined by 1,097.29 points, or 0.34%, to close at 322,401.56 points. The junior market index declined by 13.27 points, or 0.39%, to close at 3,362.92 points.
And it's time for Market Education Feature, brought to you by Carrie Chris. Regional ratings, global standard.
In today's market education feature, we're defining the term currency risk. Currency risk, also known as exchange rate risk, arises when the value of one currency changes relative to another. It affects companies and investors involved in international trade or investment, as these fluctuations can lead to unexpected gains or losses. To manage this risk, multinational corporations and institutional investors often hedge their exposure using foreign exchange markets or financial instruments such as futures and options contracts.
The Market Education Feature was brought to you by Carrie Chris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Diamond Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses. And Pulse Investments.
We get it! We get the big contract! 50,000 units a month for 3 years! Great! Oh, need help!
If you are a business owner that requires capital for the expansion of your business, talk to a registered broker today to find out more about listing your company on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, an efficient alternative to other financing options.
Thank God for the Jamaica Stock Exchange Junior Market.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange, providing a fair, efficient, and transparent stock market.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. Barbados is celebrating a surge in visitor arrivals and a historic market shift. Between January and August this year, the island welcomed just over 503,000 stayover visitors, a 5.4% increase compared to 2024. For the first time, the United States has overtaken the United Kingdom as Barbados's leading source market, with nearly 180,000 Americans choosing the island. Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Incorporated, Andrea Franklin, says the record reflects a bold push to expand airlift out of the U.S., adding more than 60,000 seats over the winter season. The Caribbean now ranks as Barbados's third largest market, contributing over 70,000 arrivals, while cruise visitors climbed 24% to nearly 600,000 passengers. Franklin says port upgrades and new hotel investments, including the Hyatt Ziva, Pendry Barbados, and Beaches Barbados, will further elevate the destination's global appeal through 2027. Guyana has crossed a new threshold in its transformation drive with the commissioning of the $260 million Demerara River Bridge. The 4-lane high-span cable-stayed bridge connects Nandi Park and the East Bank to LA Grange on the West Bank. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony on the weekend, Public Works Minister Juan Edgehill describes the project as the most advanced piece of transport infrastructure ever built in the country.
The new Demerara River Bridge is a modern 4-lane high-span cable-stayed structure designed to accommodate both vehicular and pedestrian traffic with the highest standards of safety and efficiency. Its main span, supported by elegant pylons, provide a wide navigational channel for ocean-going vessels, ensuring the uninterrupted flow of maritime traffic, a vital feature for a nation whose rivers and the lifelines that connect our people and economy.
That was Guyana's Public Works Minister, Juan Edgehill. In other news, Grenada's Investment Migration Agency has opened its new headquarters at the Galleria Mall in Grand Anse, marking a major step in its growth and modernization. The upgraded facility features enhanced meeting spaces, improved security, and technology to support both in-person and virtual engagements. Chief Executive Officer Thomas Anthony said the move was a strategic response to the agency's expanding global role. Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, who led the ribbon cutting alongside Citizenship by Investment Committee Chairman Richard Duncan, said the opening signals IMA Grenada's increasing importance to the national economy. The new base positions the agency to better serve investors, strengthen partnerships, and further elevate Grenada's profile in the global investment migration industry. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 20 securities, of which 6 advanced, 5 declined, and 9 traded firm. Today's winners are Angostura Holdings, A.S. Bryden and Sons Holdings, the West Indian Tobacco Company, and Point Listers Industrial Port Development Corporation. While leading the losers are Grace Kennedy, Massey Holdings, Scotiabank, Trinidad and Tobago, and Angostini Limited. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The All-TNT Index advanced by 10.23 points to close at 1,445.28. The Composite Index advanced by 4.40 points to close at 990.80. The Cross-Listed Index declined by 0.27 points to close at 70.56. The SME Index remained at 99.32. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
If it were not for the Jamaica Stock Exchange listing, Phosphate Company Limited would not be where it's at today. I called them, they listened to my concerns and my fears, and they gave me the answers. All the fears I had about banks, about losing control, you are having them. And I tell you, they were dissipated when I spoke to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is one of the best decisions I have ever made in business. If you want to change the trajectory of your business and to grow, make that call today to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You will be glad you did.
Welcome back. In international news, Bitcoin has smashed through $125,000, setting a new all-time high as risk appetite strengthens across global markets. The cryptocurrency traded around $125,500 Monday, buoyed by $3.2 billion in ETF inflows, the second largest since the products launched in early 2024. Analysts say investors are turning to Bitcoin and gold as hedges against global debt and geopolitical uncertainty, what JP Morgan calls the debasement trade. Bitcoin is now up 34% since January, outpacing stocks but still behind gold's 50% rally. Chart analysts see support near $118,000 and resistance around $130,000 after breaking out of a 2-month downtrend. And as markets chase new highs, diplomacy is also seeing a rebound, this time between Brazil and the United States. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and U.S. President Donald Trump have agreed to restart trade talks after a 30-minute phone call described by both sides as positive. Lula asked Trump to lift tariffs on Brazilian exports and remove sanctions on top officials, a legacy of last year's trade tensions. The two leaders plan to meet soon, possibly at a regional summit in Malaysia, and even exchanged direct phone numbers to improve communication. Trump says they focused on trade and the economy, adding, "Our countries will do very well together." Brazil's finance minister, Fernando Haddad, called the tone constructive as markets briefly strengthened on hopes of improved bilateral ties. While political bridges are being rebuilt in the Americas, one of the Gulf's largest energy investors is closing in on a landmark European deal. Abu Dhabi's ADNOC says it has submitted robust remedies to secure EU approval for its 14.7 billion euros takeover of German chemical maker Convestro. The European Commission had flagged potential state subsidy issues. ADNOC's proposal includes removing an unlimited state guarantee and pledging to keep Convestro's intellectual property in Europe. The company expects a timely clearance, calling the package a sign of its disciplined long-term investment strategy. If approved, it would mark ADNOC's biggest acquisition and one of the largest Gulf-led takeovers in Europe's manufacturing sector. And finally to Asia, where Microsoft is powering its growing digital footprint with Sunshine. Microsoft is buying 100 megawatts of solar capacity from Japan's Shizen Energy, expanding its renewable portfolio to fuel AI-driven data center growth. The 20-year deal spans 4 solar projects, 1 already operating and 3 under construction, and supports Microsoft's $2.9 billion investment plan in Japan. The tech giant has now contracted more than 1 gigawatt of solar capacity globally this year as it targets 100% renewable operations by 2030. Analysts say the move highlights how tech companies are driving clean energy investment across Asia's fast-growing digital economies. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Okay, I just sent the money. I'll WhatsApp you the tracking number.
Thanks, Daddy. I can't wait to buy that PS5.
Listen to me. Your birthday money is not just for spending. Remember what I told your mom? Remember to open the bank account immediately after collecting the money. Your mom has her ID, TRN, proof of address, proof of income, and your school ID.
I'm not an adult yet, so mommy will have to open the account with me.
Yes. Anyways, I'm headed back to work, so call me later. I love you guys.
This financial literacy tip is brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, promoting financial inclusion. For more information, visit our BOJ Real Talk playlist on our YouTube channel.
And And now to recap our top stories. In the local news, JMEA president charts 5-pillar plan to power manufacturing growth. Regionally, Barbados records tourism upsurge as U.S. becomes top market. And internationally, Bitcoin breaks barriers, soaring beyond $125,000 in a record-setting rally. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rochelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.
Alexia Beckford. You're watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.